All right, so in this video, we're going to use the formula here to find the z-scores, okay, when we're dealing with standard normal distributions, okay? So the standard score, or the z-score, represents the number of standard deviations, which we're going to use sigma for, the population standard deviation, that any data value, x in this case, falls from the mean. And we're going to use the population mean, that's this Greek letter mu, okay? So it's going to be the data value minus the mean over the standard deviation, okay? Or x minus mu over sigma, okay? So, calculating z-scores here. We've got the test scores for all stats finals at Rhode Island College. They have a mean of 78 and a standard deviation of 7, okay? So we want to find the z-score for the following three test scores, okay? So a test score of 78. So, in this problem, we've got a mean of 78, okay? So mu equals 78, and the standard deviation here, sigma, equals 7. So we're going to use these values to find the z-score for each of these three test scores for the stats final, okay? So the z-score for 78. So my x value here, my test score, my data value is 78. All right, so I'm going to plug these three values into my equation to find the z-score, okay? So z is going to equal my x value minus my mean, so 78 minus 78, divided by the standard deviation, 7. So that gives me 0 over 7, which gives me a z-score of 0. Okay? I'm going to keep using the same formula. So in B here, I've got a test score of 88. So that's going to be my data value, my observation value. So x is going to equal, this should be 88 here. Okay? So z equals 88 minus 78 divided by 7, okay, which is 10 divided by 7. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth, okay? You're going to get used to seeing that our z-scores are going to be to the nearest hundredth. So z is approximately 1.43, okay? Again, this x value should have been 88, not 78, okay? Right, and finally for number 3 here, our test score of 65, the x value is going to be 65. Okay, remember we're still using the mean of 78 and the standard deviation of 7. Okay, so let's plug these three values into our formula. So z equals 65 minus 78 divided by 7, which is negative 13 divided by 7. And let's divide these again. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth, just like we did in part B. So my z-score is going to be negative 1.86, okay? So notice, if a score is below the mean, your z-score is going to be negative. If your score is above the mean, your z-score is going to be positive. And if your z-score, or if your test score is equal to the mean, your z-score is going to be 0. Okay? So that's how you use the formula to calculate z-scores.